The most recent winner in the NASCAR Cup Series and most popular driver, Denny Hamlin, it's expected to, but it has not happened yet, extend with Joe Gibbs Racing. Of course, it was around this time last year that we saw Kyle Busch and Joe Gibbs Racing split up. The rumors and reports escalated very quickly of Joe Gibbs Racing and Kyle Busch parting ways, and Kyle Busch eventually ended up at Richard Childress Racing after 15 years with JGR. Well, now their other longtime superstar, Denny Hamlin, is in a contract year and has yet to sign an extension, but the rumors and reports are not trending towards them splitting up. Instead, they are trending in the right direction. About a month ago, it was expected that FedEx would sign on once again with Joe Gibbs Racing for I don't know how many years, but to stay with Denny Hamlin and the number 11 team. But it was going to be a little bit scaled back. They used to do the whole schedule. Now they're doing still the majority, I think maybe half the schedule, but we see other sponsors on board. Like we saw at Pocono, the Mavis Tires and Brakes. We've seen sports clips on the car. Interstate Batteries has even taken a couple of races for the 11. So the 11's had a couple new looks over the past year or so. But the TRD president, or higher up, one of the big names, David Wilson, he had an interview recently, talked to NASCAR.com or someone, but it's on NASCAR.com. And he had some quotes that seem pretty important, if you ask me. So here's what he said. He will be back, in reference to Denny Hamlin, of course. There's no question in our mind. There's no question in Joe's mind, Joe being Joe Gibbs. We're working through some details, and it's a complicated consideration because now he's not just a driver for Joe Gibbs Racing, he's also a team owner. And given that there has to be alignment for Toyota and Denny across both those considerations, just have some stuff that we're working on, but we'll get them sorted out. We still intend, I know Denny has always wanted to and intends to retire as a driver from Joe Gibbs Racing and continue as a team owner with Toyota. That's clear. That's certainly our intent, and we're working very vigorously to make sure that, in fact, happens. Of course, co-owning 2311 is what he's referring to for Denny Hamlin. Denny plays a huge role in our family, and I think both Tyler and I have really enjoyed watching his maturation. I probably pronounced that wrong. And not just as a driver, not just as a team owner, obviously, because he's very new to that, but as a human being and as a person. I'm really proud of that because let's face it, 15 years ago, it was difficult to have a conversation about the weather with Denny while you were standing on the grid next to him, but he's come a long way. I know he put out his goal of 60 wins in the Cup Series. From my perspective, that is absolutely achievable given his level of talent and his determination. I guess they talked about Denny Hamlin, his long-term goals, his short-term goals, but it does seem like he's going to re-sign with Joe Gibbs Racing. I don't know when they're going to announce it. I don't know what day, what week, even what month. There's only a few more days in July, so probably not July. They'll watch it happen tomorrow, and Denny Hamlin and Joe Gibbs Racing make me look like an idiot. But, late July, August, that's when all the silly season stuff happens. We've already seen some pretty crazy stuff already with Justin Haley going to Rick Ware Racing. The reports and rumors escalating about Shane Van Gisbergen coming over to the U.S. to run NASCAR full-time. But nothing as crazy as the Kyle Busch situation that we saw last summer. Denny Hamlin, I fully expect to stay with Joe Gibbs Racing. I fully expect to stay with Toyota. I think that him now co-owning 2311 is single-handedly holding him back in to Toyota. Like, he would be a little bit more free to leave if he didn't co-own 2311. That part of it makes it more difficult for him to leave, even if he wanted to. I don't think he wants to. I think he wants to stay with Joe Gibbs Racing, as David Wilson said. But I don't see any reason for Hamlin to leave. With Kyle Busch leaving last summer to go to RCR and the whole manufacturer thing because Kyle Busch owned KBM, that's a Truck Series team. I feel like that's a little bit more negotiable. Whereas a Cup Series team, and especially Toyota not having as many entries in the Cup Series, that's a little bit more difficult to negotiate. But it doesn't seem like Denny Hamlin's leaving, and this really reassures it. As I said, there was that report a little bit over a month ago with Hamlin or FedEx wanting to re-up with Hamlin and JGR. And it was at that point, it's like, okay, we're not about to go through what happened last summer with Kyle Busch. And once again, this kind of helps. Some people may say, oh, well, we saw this last year with Kyle Busch. You know, they said it would be an absolute failure on Toyota's part to lose Kyle Busch, or it would be a monstrosity, whatever words they said. And then it ended up happening. Once again, I don't think this is the case. I think this is different. I think Denny co-owning a Cup Series team is probably the main difference, and I don't think Denny Hamlin is really upset in any way, shape, or form in the money he's being offered or the sponsorship, whatever it may be. I think they've got all that lined up. It's just a matter of putting pen to paper. So Toyota's confident they're getting Denny back. FedEx is going to sign on, it seems like. So unless an absolute collapse happens in the last minute, like FedEx says we're not going to sponsor him, and Joe Gibbs is like, oh crap, we can't find sponsors for you, then I think they'll be fine. I think Denny Hamlin's going to be at Toyota. He's going to be at Joe Gibbs Racing until he retires. I don't know how long of a contract he'll sign. I would assume multi-year, but he's going to be in the 11 for a long time. It's going to make some people angry, but you know what? He's a future Hall of Famer. He's going to be in that car forever. So, yeah. But that's all of the news I got for you today, unless someone decides to drop a 10 p.m. news bomb, which I don't expect. But Denny Hamlin most likely staying with Joe Gibbs Racing. Some revealing quotes here kind of added on. But as I said earlier in today's video, I hope to have a more permanent video place. As you can see, I had to move once again. Things are moving around. As you can see, I moved back into the room. Sam Hornish Jr. is still here. And I will have a more permanent setup soon, where you will see more exciting background things, which I'll give you a grand preview. You've already seen some of this stuff, but Jimmy Johnson license plates, Texas Motor Speedway poster thingy, watch it, NASCAR Camping World Truck Series playoffs magnet, and Sunoco. Sunoco will be everywhere. So there's a preview of things that will be on the wall. And I'll see you in the next video, hopefully with it all done.